So, starting on our backs here, couple choices just depending on how your body is feeling this morning. You can either start with the soles of your feet on your mat, but bring them out wider than your hips. And then just let those knees come together to touch. This is just a really nice resting pose. This always feels really good on the low back. If those hips are feeling good this morning, another option is bound angle, soles of the feet together, letting those knees drop out wide. If you have yoga blocks, you could always place your blocks underneath your thighs or your knees. But then again, if this is just feeling too much this morning, those hips are just really tight, then just start in that resting pose, feet wide, knees together. So again, just finding what feels good for you this morning and just starting to become aware of how the body is feeling, what it needs from you today. And we'll start with both palms just resting right over your belly. Without changing anything, just start to notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Noticing if your natural breath this morning is shallow or full. Are your inhales and exhales quick or maybe lengthened out? Just starting to become in tune with your body. Noticing where you hold on to any tension. Oftentimes it's through the shoulders, the neck, even the jaw. So just softening into those spaces. And then once you've started to become aware of your natural rhythm of breath, if your breath is more on the short and shallow side, just try to deepen your inhales and lengthen out your exhale. Starting to create this steady, full rhythm of breath. Full breath in through your nose and an even breath out our nose. We are here on our mats to get out of our minds and into our body. To help with that is our breath. By focusing on our breath, it makes it easier to help clear the mind, to help let go of any wandering thoughts or any outside distractions. Anytime you notice your mind wandering throughout this practice, just come back to your breath. Inhale and exhale. Let's take 3 more big belly breaths here. Sending your breath all the way down into the belly, filling with air, and exhaling it all out. 2 more times, big inhale, feel the belly rise under your palms, and exhale out. 1 more time, big breath in, and exhale it out. Go ahead and release your arms to your sides. Just gently windshield wiper your knees, dropping both knees to one side and then to the other. Just lowering as close to the ground as comfortable. And now go ahead and hug both knees in towards your chest. It might feel good to gently rock side to side. And now holding on to your knees or your shins, just allow those legs to open out wide, almost like a happy baby, but we're not going to reach for the feet just yet here. Just feel that gentle opening through the hips, the inner thighs, flexing through the feet, reaching out through your heels. And now we're just going to lower our left foot back down to our mat. Finding a figure four, place your right ankle over your left thigh. Now, with this being a morning practice, oftentimes our bodies feel a little extra tight in the mornings. So we're not here to force anything. Allow your body to ease into these poses. So you can start right here, keeping your left foot down on your mat. Maybe that right hand gently presses the right leg away from your body. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, your left foot can come off your mat, grab a hold of the back of your left thigh, just drawing those knees closer towards your chest. Take a few deep breaths here. If you've lifted up your leg, try and keep the upper body relaxed. Head and shoulders stay down on your mat. Very little effort needed from the arms. And now before we get to the other side, we're gonna hug our right knee into our chest. Let your left leg straighten out onto your mat. Now begin to straighten the right leg up towards the sky, just holding on to the back of your thigh. There can be as much of a bend in this lifted leg as needed. Again, we're just easing into it. Now with that right ankle, go ahead and circle that ankle out one direction here a few times. And other direction. And then switch off between pointing that right foot and flexing. Pointing toes to the ceiling. Flexing toes towards your forehead. Feeling that stretch through the front of the shin, the ankle, the foot, and then through the calf, the back of the ankle. Let's take one more inhale breath. As you exhale, let's hug both knees back into our chest. Holding on to your knees or shins, again, allow those legs to open out wide. Kind of a modified happy baby here. Reaching out through the heels, flexing the feet. And now finding our figure four on the other side. Right foot comes down to the mat, left ankle over your right thigh. Find what feels good. This might be enough, or that right foot can lift up, bringing the knees closer to your chest. Notice how each side may also feel a little bit different. So maybe you are able to lift your foot up on the other side, but maybe your left hip is just too tight to do that. So we're just bringing that awareness to our bodies. Not only here connecting with our breath, but connecting with our bodies. Full breath in and out. And now hugging left knee into your chest, right leg straightens out onto your mat. Start to straighten your left leg towards the sky, just straight as possible. Circle out your left ankle one direction, and then the other. And then switch off between pointing the left foot and flexing. Just point and flex. Take one more inhale breath. Keeping that right leg straight down on the ground, very gently lower the left leg down to meet the right. Reach both arms overhead. Big inhale breath, full body stretch here, fingertips to toes. And then roll on to one side, push yourself up, and let's all meet in our tabletop hands and knees. Again, if you have one or two yoga blocks, go ahead and have those sitting near the top of your mat. Again, if you don't have blocks, that is okay. As we come into our tabletop here, we're stacking shoulders over wrist, hips over the knees. Take a few rounds of cat-cow. So dropping the belly, lifting the chin and tailbone up as you inhale. And exhale, round your upper back, chin to chest, push away from the ground. Again, inhale, drop the belly, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round, drop the tailbone, draw the belly in. 2 more times here, following your breath. After that second round, just move in big circles, sitting back towards your heels, circling around one direction here. And other direction. And returning back into your tabletop, go ahead and bring those knees just a little bit closer together. Sit back on your heels, belly towards your thighs, folding forward and actively reaching those arms towards the top of your mat. So you're pressing down into your fingertips, your palms. Almost imagine like you're trying to pull your mat towards your nose. Big stretch through the arms, the shoulders, the upper back. Now keep those arms reaching forward. On an inhale, we're going to rise up past our tabletop into a plank on our knees. So we're stacking shoulders over the wrists. We're lowering those hips slightly, drawing the belly in, crown of the head reaches forward. Let's do that again. Exhale, sit back on your heels, folding forward, belly to your thighs. Inhale, rise up into your plank on your knees. Again, exhale, sit back on your heels, big stretch. Inhale into your plank. One more time here. Exhale, sit back on your heels. Inhale into your plank. This time, while hugging your elbows in, very slowly lower belly, chest, and chin down to your mat. Top of the feet are pressing into the ground. Elbows point back. On an inhale, lift your heart cobra, just as high as comfortable here. As you exhale, release nose to mat. Again, inhale, lift your heart cobra. Exhale, release. Curl your toes. Push up to your tabletop. This time, send your hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. Our first down dog this morning. Take any movement that feels good here. Get a nice stretch through the legs, pedaling out through the feet. Maybe even rock those hips a little bit side to side. Soften through the neck, just letting the head dangle between the arms. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then we'll just return back into our tabletop, knees to the mat. Walk the hands back underneath your shoulders. Now, keeping your right leg bent, start to do big circles for that right hip. Go nice and slow here, no need to rush. We'll circle around one direction here. And other direction. And now continue to keep that right leg bent. On an inhale, send your heel to the sky. Drop your belly, heart forward, lift up your chin. On your exhale, bring your knee to your nose, round your upper back. Let's do that again. Inhale, heel to the sky, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, round knee to nose. Good again. Inhale, heel to the sky, lift the chin. And this time on your exhale, we're going to step that right foot all the way up between our hands into our low lunge. This is where if you have blocks, you are welcome to grab them, just placing them on either side of your front ankle. If you don't have blocks, hands can reach towards your mat or just let them rest on top of your thigh. Take a couple breaths here in your low lunge. It might feel good to gently rock the hips forward and back here. Sending your breath into any tight spaces in your body. Make sure your front foot is forward enough so the knee stays behind your toes. And now coming into stillness in your low lunge. Start to walk your right foot towards the right edge of your mat. We're going to pivot that right foot so the toes spill off your mat and your inner foot lifts up. So that knee is opening out to the right. Hands underneath your shoulders, either pressing into your mat or your blocks. We're just coming into a gentle lizard pose. Getting a big stretch into that right inner thigh, into the hips. We're just letting those hips feel heavy, sinking towards the ground. Stay lifted in the heart, relax the shoulders. We're flexing that right foot, even though the inner foot is lifted. So you're really pressing down into the outer edge of that right foot. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale it out. Now go ahead and keep your left hand exactly where it is. Bring your right hand to rest on top of your thigh. Just a gentle twist here, rotating the upper body towards that right knee, and then tilting heart to the sky. Maybe you lift up your chin. Slowly rotate back to center. Walk your foot back to the center of your mat. We're going to straighten out our front leg, lift those front toes, half split. You might want to slide that foot forward a little bit here. We're making sure to keep our left hip in line with our left knee. Let there be as much of a bend in your front leg as needed. Gently folding forward, belly towards your thigh, nose towards your shin. Think about drawing your right hip back. Left hip is coming forward. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then we'll return back into our low lunge. Now curl your back toes. Lift your back knee. You are welcome to bring your blocks with you if you have them. But we're going to walk those hands to the left. Pivot the feet, coming into a wide-legged forward fold, facing the left edge of your mat. Just soften the upper body. We'll take a few breaths here. Take any movement that feels good. Maybe bending into one leg and then the other. Hands reaching for your blocks or just reaching towards the mat. Letting go of any tension through the neck. Just letting the head dangle down. And now coming into stillness here in your forward fold. Start to walk those feet in just a little bit closer together, just about a touch wider than your hips. If you had your blocks, bring them with you. We're going to walk our hands towards our right foot. Pivot the feet. We're facing the front of our mat, but keep those legs pretty straight. We're coming into our pyramid pose. There can be as much of a bend in that front knee as needed. We want our hips pointing forward. So think about drawing right hip back, left hip forward. Your back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Your front foot is pointing forward. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, soften and fold. Now, if you don't have any blocks and the ground just feels too far away, you could always let those hands rest on your shins or your thigh, coming into more of a flat back. So just keeping that belly pulling in, crown of the head is reaching forward. Take one more inhale breath. On your exhale, we're just going to step our back foot up to meet the right, forward fold, top of our mat. Let there be a generous bend in the knees. Upper body just hangs heavy. On an inhale breath, lift up halfway, flat back. Lengthening out your spine, relax shoulders away from the ears, and exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, reaching to the sky, big stretch. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reach up to the sky with your thumbs pointing back. Exhale, cactus, just a tiny back bend here. Open up the heart. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. We're going to step back to our plank. Now you have the option to stay up on your toes or lower those knees, and also lowering the hips slightly. Stacking shoulders over wrists, draw the belly in, push away from your mat. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, lower belly, chest and chin down. Point your toes, inhale, lift your heart, cobra. Exhale, release. Curl your toes, inhale to your tabletop or plank. Exhale, hips to the sky, down dog. Take a couple breaths here. Again, any little movement that might feel good in your down dog. Take one more cycle of breath. And then we'll meet back in our tabletop, knees to the mat. And walking those hands back underneath your shoulders. All right, we've got the other side here. Keeping that left leg bent. Start with those big circles for your left hip. Go nice and slow here, one direction, a few times. And other direction. Keep that belly drawing inward, strong core. Now continue to keep that left leg bent. On an inhale, send your left heel to the sky. Drop the belly, heart forward, lift your chin, big stretch. Exhale, knee to nose, round your upper back. Good again, inhale, heel to the sky, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round, push away from your mat. One more time, inhale, heel to the sky, big stretch. On your exhale, we'll step that left foot up between our hands, finding our low lunge. Hands either on blocks, either reaching towards your mat or resting on top of your thigh. Take a few breaths here. Gentle movement forward and back might feel good. Keep those hips just pointing forward. Again, noticing if this side feels a little bit different. Stay relaxed through the shoulders. Now coming into stillness, stacking that front knee over your ankle. Let's start to walk our left foot to the left edge of our mat. Pivot your foot so the toes come off, and then inner foot lifts up. So then that left knee is opening up to the left. Have those hands underneath your shoulders, either pressing into blocks or your mat. Hips are feeling heavy as they're sinking forward. If this feels challenging at all, focus on your breath. Using that breath, breathing into the stretch. Keep that left foot flexed and strong to protect your knee. Now keep your right hand right where it is. Bring left hand to rest on top of your thigh. Draw your belly in. Let those hips still feel heavy though. Start to rotate the heart towards the left and tilting up to the sky. Maybe lift your chin. Think about drawing your left shoulder back. Take one more inhale. On your exhale, return back to center. Walk that foot back to the middle of the mat. Straighten out your leg, flex your foot, half split. Folding forward here, belly towards your thigh, nose towards your shin. Notice how this should feel very similar to our pyramid pose. We're drawing our left hip back, right hip forward. There can be as much of a bend in that front knee as you need. You're still going to feel that stretch through the hamstring, the back of your leg. Take one more cycle of breath here. And then begin to move into your low lunge. We're going to curl the back toes, lift the back knee. You can bring blocks if you have them, but walk those hands to the right, pivot those feet. Wide-legged forward fold facing the right edge of your mat. Again, take a few breaths here. Just let your upper body hang heavy. This might sound a little counterintuitive, but actually the wider you have your feet out, the easier it is to fold forward. Crown of the head is reaching towards the ground. It might feel good to bend into one leg and then the other. Or just hold in stillness, letting gravity do the work. And now coming into stillness in your forward fold, walk those feet in just a little bit closer together, just maybe a touch wider than the hips. Again, if you had your blocks, bring them with you. We're going to walk our hands to our left foot or towards the top of our mat. Pivot those feet so we're facing forward, finding our pyramid pose on the other side. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Your left foot is pointing forward. We're drawing our left hip back, right hip forward here. Again, let there be a little bend in that front knee if needed. If you have your blocks or hands can reach to your mat, just soften the upper body and fold, crown of the head towards your toes. If you don't have blocks and the ground feels a little far away, let the hands rest on your shins or your thighs and just coming into more of a flat back. Full breaths here. Keep drawing your left hip back. We want the front of the hips to be pointing towards the front of our mat. Let's take one more inhale breath. On an exhale, just step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, big stretch. Exhale, hands at your heart. Inhale, reach to the sky, thumbs point back. Exhale, cactus, open the heart. Inhale, reach to the sky, and exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Step back to your plank option to lower the knees first. On an exhale, lower chest and chin all the way to your mat. Point your toes, your choice here. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, straightening the arms, thighs lift off your mat. And exhale to your down dog. Take a breath. Now, from your down dog, we're going to stay in this down dog. On an inhale, raise right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, stack your hips. So we're opening up to the right. That right knee is trying to reach to the sky. Left heel is pressing down into your mat. Take an inhale breath. On your exhale, bring your knee up towards your nose, round the upper back, push away from your mat, and then gently step that foot up between your hands. Now we're gonna keep our back knee lifted, pivot your back foot, and rise up into your warrior two. So the hips and the heart are open towards the left. We're bending into that right knee, but opening up that right knee towards the right. Reaching out through those arms, but soften through the shoulder. On an inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Start to straighten your front leg. Exhale to your triangle, lowering your right hand to your thigh, your shin, your ankle, even a block. Left arm to the sky. Now here in our triangle, it's really not about how low you can reach that right hand, but it's about opening up. We're opening up our left shoulder, opening up our left hip. Take one more inhale breath. From your triangle, just lower left hand down. Pivot that right foot, come back to that wide-legged forward fold. Just 2 breaths here. Crown of the head reaching towards the ground. Sit bones up towards the sky. Now walk your feet in just a little bit closer together. Walk those hands back towards your right foot. Pivot the feet, pyramid. Hands are reaching for your mat, your blocks, or resting on your shin or thigh. Drawing our right hip back, left hip forward. We're facing the front of our mat. Now, a little bit different here. Start to bend into your right leg. Lift your back heel, step that foot further back towards the back of your mat, and lower your back knee down. So we're just back here in our low lunge, right foot forward. Let's find our lizard pose again. So walk your right foot to the right edge of your mat. Pivot the foot so the toes come off your mat, inner foot lifts up. We're back here in our lizard. You might stay just like this, hands pressing into your blocks or pressing into the mat. You're welcome to go a little further. Maybe you lower down onto your forearms, whether the forearms rest on your blocks, or maybe you can go all the way down to your mat. Again, we're not here to force anything. A stretch will always feel a little uncomfortable, but we don't want any pain. So listen to your body. Breathe into the pose. Stay strong in that right foot, flexing the foot, firmly pressing down into the outer edge. Sending your breath all the way down into your hips. Let's take one more round of breath here. If you lower down to your forearms, you can come back up onto the hands. Now your choice here, you can go right to your down dog, or if you want to take a vinyasa flow, make your way back to your plank, either lowering belly to cobra or lower halfway chaturanga to your up dog, and we'll all meet in our down dog. Once in your down dog, it might feel good to kind of pedal out those feet, maybe even shake out that right leg. All right, one more side here. On an inhale breath, raise your left leg tall. Bend your knees, stack your hips. So we're opening up to the left now, reaching that knee high as you can, big, big stretch. Take an inhale. On your exhale, bring your knee up towards your nose, round the upper back, push away from your mat, and then gently step up between your hands. You're gonna pivot on your back foot, rise up tall to our warrior two, hips and heart open towards the right. Think about pointing that left knee towards your second toe. So we just don't want it to move inward. Stacking the shoulders over the hips, strong gaze over your left fingertip. On an inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Start to straighten out your left leg, finding your triangle. Left hand down, right arm to the sky. Again, we're opening up that right shoulder, opening up heart to the sky, opening up that right hip. Keep the belly drawing in, root into those feet. Take one more inhale. On your exhale, just release right hand to your mat, pivot your left foot, wide-legged forward fold, facing the right edge of your mat. Take 2 big breaths here. And now start to walk those feet in closer together. Start to find your pyramid pose. Front body points towards the front of the mat. Back foot 45-degree angle, front foot points forward. Drawing your left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale, breath. As you exhale, soften and fold. Now again, a little bit different. Start to bend into that front knee. Lift your back heel, step that foot towards the back of your mat. Lower your back knee down. We're in our low lunge. Left foot forward, facing the front of our mat. Let's find our lizard on the other side. So walk that left foot to the left edge. Pivot the toes so they come off your mat, and inner foot lifts up. Now just finding your variation here. Maybe you sit up nice and tall, hands press into your mat or blocks. Maybe you lower down to your forearms. Again, this side is gonna feel different. You may not be able to go as low, or maybe this side you can go even lower. Take full breaths here. Sending your breath into those hips, into those tight spaces. Keeping that left foot flexed and strong, protecting the knee. Let's take one more cycle of breath. If you lower to your forearms, make your way back to your hands. Your choice to make your way back to your down dog, or take a vinyasa flow, belly to cobra or chaturanga up dog. We'll all meet here in our down dog. And then once you've taken a couple breaths in your down dog, got one last good down dog stretch. You can lower those knees to your mat. Toes come together, knees out, just wide as comfortable. Just sit back into your child's pose. Let your upper body just feel heavy, softening down. Take a few big belly breaths here. Taking a moment, just notice how the hips feel. How does the body feel? Take one more full breath in. Let out a long exhale. Inhale, come up to your tabletop, knees under the hips. Take a moment, it might feel good here, just to rock your hips side to side, looking over one shoulder and then the other. And now let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. However you would like to get there. Maybe it's rolling forward and back along the spine. Maybe it's just coming right onto your back. Eventually meeting in stillness with our knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Now go ahead and shift your hips closer towards the right edge of your mat. You have an option here to cross your right leg over the left. So like we would if we were doing eagle pose, or maybe how you would sit cross-legged in a chair. The arms will open out to a T, and we're just going to lower those knees down to the left. So coming into a supine twist. Now, if you have your legs crossed, but this feels too intense for either the low back or for the hips, then just uncross those legs and let the right leg stack over the left. Keep the shoulders grounded down to the mat. Try and keep your heart pointing up to the sky. Take one more inhale breath. On your exhale, bring the knees back to center. Scoot your hips towards the left edge of the mat. Option to cross your left leg over the right and let those knees drop down to the right. One more inhale. As you exhale, knees come back to center, straighten out those hips. Now coming back to where we started our practice, you can either have those feet walk out wide and just bring those knees together to touch. Or maybe take a bound angle, soles of the feet together, knees drop out wide. Just like we started here, just resting both palms right over your belly. Again, just feeling that connection with your breath. Just noticing how you feel now compared to first stepping on your mat this morning. Does the body feel a little more awake, a little more open, a little more stretched out? Does the mind feel a little bit more centered, more focused? Just soak in any sensations in your body. If there's any other final movements you feel your body needs, go ahead and take those now before we give ourselves some time to just fully relax. And as you begin to feel ready, just allow everything to release down to your mat. Just let your body take up space, relaxing every muscle from your toes to your hands. Soften your shoulders and your jaw. This could be your only moment of complete stillness for the rest of your day. So just taking these final few moments in our practice, soaking in the idea of just doing nothing. Just let your body melt into your mat. Just let your breath move naturally. Quiet your mind. Let everything around you disappear as we come into our final pose, Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring awareness back to your body by wiggling your fingers and toes, circling out your wrists and ankles. And then reaching arms overhead, taking a big breath in, full body stretch. Gently roll on to one side. Slowly start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. With your eyes closed, palms together at your heart. One last time, feeling that connection with your breath. Feeling the chest rise and fall. Feeling that connection with your body. Feeling your heartbeat under your thumb. Taking this moment to just be grateful for your body's health. Grateful for the time that you had on your mat this morning. Time that you chose to just slow down and focus on you. We'll close our practice here with one final breath altogether. Begin to take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose and exhale it all out. Gently lower chin to your chest. Thank you all so much for practicing with me this morning. Namaste.